I'm opening the webinar because it is 7.
Okay.
I didn't hear from Brody one way or another if he was going to be here tonight. And I have news about Alex that I'll share later.
I saw Brody a week and a half ago, he said he was gonna call in, but
Oh,
it could have changed.
I'll keep an eye on the attendees list in case he's calling in and I know Tanya is with us virtually and we should be able to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yay.
All right, well, 7 o'clock, am I still board chair?
You are. Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry. You are, the chair and vice chair remain the same.
Okay.
Good try.
Okay, all right, we'll call the meeting to order of the Tumwater Tree Board on Monday, April 14th, 2025. Guess we'll go around the room first, and then we'll do Tanya last.
Mike Jackson,
Brent Ransom, here.
Brent Jackson.
Jim Sedor.
Tanya,
Connie Mazzella.
thank you.
Okay, we have quorum. Okay, changes to the agenda?
And from me,
Do we get meeting minutes? I didn't see them.
yes, they were in the packet. I didn't print any because no one asked me to print any.
I know, that's fine. Good idea.
I can go to it.
Did anybody else read them?
Approved. I move that we approve the January 13th meeting minutes.
All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from January? What was it?
Yeah,
January 13th.
it's been a little slow.
2025, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Ayes have it. It's approved. Three board member reports. Want to talk about your book, Jim?
I just, this last month, actually within the last week, I sent a note to Alyssa about a book that was recommended through the American Gardener magazine, last month's edition, called The New Garden Ethic. It was in the Tumwater Library, so I checked it out, started reading it, and it talks about urban landscaping and residential landscaping, and the use of native plants, and the value environmentally doing that, and the different perspectives justifying whatever form of landscape we do. There can be the value, of course, of low maintenance is the most important thing, or some people want pollinators is the most important thing. Some want
Fire prevention.
fire prevention, and so it discusses some of those things here, and it begins to use the terminology of deep ecology and shallow ecology that I was unfamiliar with. Deep ecology saying that humans are just one part of the ecosystem, and we should have no more control or domination over the rest of the environment than any other species does, versus shallow ecology, which says the solution to climate control is up to the humans to do. We need to come up with mechanisms, techniques to solve problems that perhaps we have caused. The deep ecology tends to be more radical and just some things like reducing the human population so that there's less impact, or setting aside much larger areas. And it describes how the United States is one of the first and one of the only countries in the world that has national parks and wilderness areas in particular. And is that a solution that we should recommend to other countries and expand on in our own country? All of this, I sent a note to Alyssa saying, are you familiar with this book? She told me, of course I am. I've read lots of things about this. Here's a there's a handout or a report she sent me that was better than the book about many of those issues. She said she studied this in school. And it occurred to me that we have expertise in Alyssa and in some of our staff that we don't have. Some of us have bits of it. We have other expertise. But it occurred to me that I think I will do a better job as a tree board member if I become more aware of current issues and thinking related to urban planning and urban forest management. But how am I gonna get that? And yeah, it's last year, I think it's published. So my suggestion to Trent and Alyssa last night at 10 o'clock or whatever was, do we have time and could we consider some way to get some training, a little bit of training in every other meeting? Some of it could come from us because some of us have specialized training that would benefit other members. But some of it certainly could come from Alyssa, who does this full-time. Not only has she had training in it, but she also works in it 40-plus hours a week and networks with other people with expertise. We've talked about getting some training information from other boards and committees as well as the tribes as a way to increase our knowledge and understanding of the issues of urban forestry. So I was just going to open that as a suggestion and see if other people had ideas as to whether we have time for that, if that's our role or not, and whether we should consider adding this to the calendar that we made a couple months.
Well, I mean, I think it's always good to learn new things. Is it something we could, I guess it depends on, there's probably lots of continuing education credits for different varying things that we could for an hour here or there, or we could probably also invite different people to come in and talk for a little bit.
I think we do some of that, of course, within the homeowners, the staff, to get educated from other department heads. I'm just wondering, how do other people do that? I primarily do it through the library. But Alyssa might be a wealth of information for us, and she knows people who you've invited, and we've got on our calendar people to come in and brief us on stuff which may sound like it's just information, but it may also be education that we would benefit from. But we haven't really formalized that as a training plan.
Tanya has her virtual hand up.
Go ahead, Tanya.
I think that's a great idea. And I just took a class about 3 weeks ago at the new Watsons, planting native plants for bees and butterflies. And it was an hour class. And made me think, I do just made me rethink. They gave us a little native plant, and she talked about creating the garden not just summer, everybody's excited about the and but she,
Tanya, you're breaking up a bit.
oh,
Yeah, there's some
Background noise that's occluding your voice.
that's bizarre. There's nobody else in this room but me. Is that better?
We can hear you better now.
Okay, I just need to get closer to the speaker. Can you hear me okay?
too close.
Oh. The class was, I think it's a great idea. That's what I wanted to say. I just
We got that.
native. So I would love to get more training in it and love to learn new things.
Where, Tanya, did you say that that class was through?
Watson's, the Barking Garden, then,
Oh, yeah, okay.
$25. They've had 2 of them, and they have one with Mason Bees here, coming up.
Well,
Another option perhaps is podcast. I'm not really into podcasts, but I know people that are. And that might be a way that we would not take meeting time, but we could get expert information, education. And on our own time, we could listen to a podcast on urban forestry or something like that.
One that I have looked at occasionally, I think it's called Nerdy by Nature, Nerdy About Nature. That's specific to the Pacific Northwest. They're in the British Columbia, but one I can just pull out of my hat right now for you. But I can work on a foundational list of suggested readings, and you all can go at it at your own pace. And if I find any trainings, or if you find any trainings, I can help circulate that to the board for you all to take on a voluntary basis. And then you can report back on whatever you do in your pre-board member reports.
I like that.
all right.
One of the things as I was thinking about Alyssa's expertise, is that she has this knowledge, training, as well as network. But sometimes what I hear from you, Alyssa, is you're not supposed to tell us anything unless we ask you for it.
That's not the case at all.
Okay. And
Oftentimes, a lot of other staff are busy, so they're not actively being like, hey, I'm not over here anymore, so I don't get to have like, hey, there's this new thing. So if I don't know to ask for it, we're all busy doing our work. It doesn't always occur to us to stop doing our work to share what our work is. That's a struggle that we all have. So it's not that there's any lack of access to information, just we get lost in our work and forget to tell other people. And when you ask me to get information, then that's a helpful reminder for me and the person who may have the information to provide it. We have a lot of different things going on at all times, so.
Is there a local, like conference or something? I know like when I was with the park board, they used to go to the Washington Parks and Rec. They would send some people to that, if they wanted to go.
There's the South Sound Climate Convention is coming up. Thurston Climate Action Team puts that on. I think it's May 17th. In May. I can, it's on a Saturday and it's at Evergreen. I can share that with you.
Oh, I think I got an email about that.
They were sending out exclusive invites first, but now the general invite has gone out.
were you one of the experts?
I have been invited, and they wanted to make sure that the chair of the tree board. But now it's wider, so everyone. But they have limited space.
We're third tier now, Jim.
No, not my hierarchy. But that is a conference that's coming up, and there are likely other ones that I'm unaware of. That you all and I can together do some digging and maybe find opportunities.
Yeah, Brent, I was thinking of, your vocation as kind of a full-time urban forest manager of the campus. Are there conferences or networks or periodicals that you see related to your profession that would relate to our work?
I don't have a specific one right at the moment, but DNR, Urban and Community Forestry Program, has access to, I think, a lot that would be relevant to this board. I don't know if I can do it or Alyssa can. Do you get their newsletter every month?
Get their news.
Yeah, so, but I'll put that on my radar to
Great.
look.
Got a picture of Tumwater staff in the newsletter the past 3 times.
Nice. But they're always promoting, either in-person workshops or seminars or online or readings. Yeah, everything you've mentioned.
Get the Wazoo Small Forest Landowner email, and they do classes often. And they send out a lot of emails. I think the gentleman's name is Patrick, who sends them. When I first started, I attended one about, a bunch of different kinds of trees and different issues that small landowners might have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said they do put on quite a few, but they're all east side.
Some of them are online. A lot of them are online now, so.
And they do have urban forestry technicians now, one side specifically, well, two actually for the west side. And I'm not sure exactly what their scope of work is, but I know they go around and provide assistance to people like us, or cities like Tumwater with stuff. So maybe this could be a stuff that they could help with, is come and present something. We gave them a specific topic or.
And the Arbor Day Society, or Foundation, they have orientation. I know I took an online class from them that I thought might be helpful for new tree board members. But, they might have other things. Of course, theirs is national perspective, and so it's not necessarily urban. So, not as focused as our issues.
National Wildlife Federation, has a habitat steward training. I know registration was open maybe a month ago. I'm not sure if it's still open. But I've done that training both in Florida and out here, and it's free and available to the public and it's useful. A lot of it would probably be information that you all already have, but then there's nuggets of stuff that maybe you didn't know.
Okay, thank you. My report.
Any other and Tanya, I just muted you because you had lots of background noise, but if you would like to continue to speak, please unmute whenever you're ready to talk.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not even here, but, okay, thank you.
Right, well, I don't have anything else. Mike, do you have anything?
Oh, just waiting for her report.
Yeah, I have a long one today.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Okay, well, manager's report.
You all did ask me to report on like 5 things every meeting, so I'm just trying to do what you've asked me to do. First thing, there's a lot of good news in my report, so at least there's that. The first thing is that we have selected our urban forester, Brian Coughlin. He will be starting on May 1st.
Woo, congratulations.
And he will likely be introduced to the tree board in June, but those of you who were here last month, he attended the meeting, so, Brian has been selected.
What's his last?
Coughlin, Caughlan. He comes to us from City of Lacey, where he had most recently been working as the source control inspector for stormwater, but had previously worked as basically the city arborist, working in parks, and had previously been a journey level maintenance technician working in parks and landscaping at Thurston County. He's got a degree in English. He communicates really clearly. He provided us immediately useful information in his interview about cabling prices and all the different costs associated with that we have used to help us with some quotes that are related to my next item, if you're ready for me to move on. But if you have questions about Brian, I can try to answer those too.
I'm sorry, did you say his start date is May 1st?
May 1st.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have a desk for
Where
you.
will he be based?
In the cubicle right beside me at
Hi.
SWCC.
Because you're his supervisor.
And the funding from the feds?
So right now, we're getting weekly updates from River Network, which is the nonprofit that the money from the Forest Service is funneled through. So far, we still have the funding. They have been getting reimbursements processed by the U.S. Forest Service, but there are other pass-through agencies similar to the River Network who have gotten their contracts terminated, the Arbor Day Foundation being a large one that had most of the funding. So we're still proceeding, like we're having the grant funding and it won't be taken away, but we'll, it's seat of our pants. But hoping that, we're proceeding as if we still have it and will have it. And if we don't have it, we're trying to do some planning in the back of our heads as well. We have backup plans for funding the position, so the position won't be eliminated. But if the grant does is taken away, then we likely wouldn't be able to proceed with the programs that were included in it, but the staffing will still proceed. and they'll still be working on implementing the urban forestry management plan, just maybe items that don't require funding until, we can get them allocated or more grants.
Right.
My next item, and make sure you're listening, Tanya, because I know you care about this one. But I know you care about all of them, but especially this one. I'm gonna read it exactly. We are presenting a resolution to the city council at their meeting tomorrow night related to the Davis Meeker Gary Oak Tree, establishing the council, this is hot off the press, you're the first people to know about
Who's
this.
the we?
City leadership. This is an email from Lisa that I'm reading, our city
Thanks
administrator.
for the context.
Yes. City staff are presenting a resolution to the city council at their meeting tomorrow night related to the Davis Meeker Gary Oak Tree, establishing the council's intent to allocate funding to allow the mayor to perform necessary and appropriate measures to reduce public safety risks related to the tree and to retain it in a safe condition. The first necessary step, the first necessary step to authorize expending resources to move forward with detailed work planning related to practical implementation of the Prager Associates recommendations, the second arborist. There will be additional administrative steps that will have to be taken before any specific work is performed at the tree, but this action puts those steps into motion through funding. So they're going to retain the tree and do the,
Recommendation.
that's the recommendation. So if city council decides to say no, which I really don't, seems like the Davis Meeker Gary Oak Tree will be retained, and we will be allocating funding to do the necessary maintenance to make it safe, which in the Prager Associates, recommendations included pruning, cabling, mostly.
And the funding is coming from,
The funding is coming from, we're figuring that out.
Oh, that's fun.
and that's fine. Did anyone else read something suggesting that the tree board should help find funding?
You would have to be asked by the whole city council to pursue something like that.
Okay, I read that,
Hmm.
within the last month online someplace, that they were considering whether the historical commission,
There was an opinion piece that was suggesting that.
okay,
Yeah.
and that the tree board set up or request funds from the citizens, to pay for the maintenance of this tree on an ongoing basis.
Put a tin can next to the tree, donate to the Meeker Oak.
The
That's
city-
deductible.
We did a lot of
So
fun.
I know you've offered it, go ahead, Tanya.
Oh, the citizens have raised, I'm not saying that we can give them money because I am not in charge of it by any shape or form. But, we did a lot of fundraisers, for the tree. I know that the money's on hold now, but that was something that the citizens that got together to save the oak might be willing to help with. I don't know. I'm just suggesting it. I have no say, no knowledge, but it might be a thing that they would consider. Alyssa, do you know when the, work will start? Are they gonna time it after the Falcons? Because I'm assuming the Falcons are in there and are gonna have babies, so are they, thinking, they must be taking that into account.
You're breaking up a lot, Tanya, but I think you were asking if I know when the work might be done
Yeah,
on
because,
the tree? I'm not sure yet. They have to approve the funding, and then we would probably go through a competitive process, depending on the cost. I think it's less than what we need to do for a competitive process, but make sure that, a lot of arborist companies might not want to touch the tree, so we have to find, a reputable, licensed, bonded, insured, all the things arborist that has the training and availability to do the pruning and the cabling.
could
So
Prager,
I'm not sure when. This is the first step.
could Prager do it? They could do it.
But I'm not sure. I wasn't privy to their qualifications, in particular, so I'm not sure. But we do have companies that do pruning of trees on city property. I shared the invoice from the work that was done at the Gary Oak by the Walmart, when it was going through the heritage tree process. So that's a vendor that has worked on a large Gary Oak, pruning in the past. The leadership's aware.
I don't have any, I would just use a recommendation that the consulting arborist be on site, at least for the kickoff, for the pruning program to make sure it aligns with his or her vision?
As part of the quote, that the Assistant City Administrator, was working on a few days ago. We met for, coffee and then, like, oh, I have ideas of how much this could cost from other work that we've done. So, yeah. And it'll probably be Todd Brager that's on site, or if it's the urban forester, if they're, feeling up to it.
So I'm curious about the saplings that are growing, so thanks for offering one to the Capitol campus.
Another one of my,
Okay, I'll wait. I'm curious about where the rest of them might be living.
I have 3 quick updates and then I get.
Okay, thank you.
Tree ordinance work, there's no updates at this time. The work is still targeted to begin late summer. You all asked for me to provide updates on the climate element. The second draft is currently undergoing legal and department director review. It's scheduled to go to city council in July. Conservation element, that's one that you didn't ask me about, but it's relevant to you all, so I wanted to bring it. Dana Bowers from Community Development is hoping to bring the draft conservation element to you all in June, to get your feedback on it, especially related to actions related to urban forestry. So just putting that on your radar, that you may have a fun, large document to read for your June meeting. And now the saplings. I met with the Parks Director last week to discuss the rehoming, lack of a better term, of the approximately 50 Davis Meeker Gary Oak saplings. The plan is for the Parks Department and the Tree Board to kind of split the number in half and to distribute. So the Tree Board can recommend future homes for about 25 of the saplings, and I have your recommendations from before, so I have an idea of where I think, but then I'm happy to get changes. So any saplings would be distributed, would be given with the understanding that the recipient would ensure that they would protect the saplings and give them adequate care. So either that's going to be like a written agreement or a verbal one, a handshake of like, yes, you will take care of it. We're not trying to give it to anyone who's not going to be responsible with these. The Parks Department will be likely keeping 4 of the saplings of their 25, with the intention of future plantings at the golf course and Trails End Park.
Future planting.
Future plantings, they're gonna wait till they get they're gonna baby them and get them a little bigger and then, plant them, especially after the construction. They're like that big now. Especially after construction at Trails End, they wanna not have it get.
When's that start?
I have no idea. Yeah. I don't think they have a final plan yet either. The remaining 21 of Parks' share of the saplings will be donated to Wolf Haven, who is undergoing restoration of an oak prairie habitat in their location in Tenino, and they're really excited about getting these. Given the suggestions you all provided at a few meetings ago for potential homes, this is an initial recommendation based on what you all suggested. 1, going to the Capitol campus. Thank you, Brent. Approximately 10 saplings going to Ole Ecosystems. A handful of saplings potentially to members of the community who would be able to commit to caring for the saplings or planting on their own properties, especially some of the advocates that were a big part of saving the Davis Meeker Gary Oak. And then the remaining saplings to be distributed to interested parties within the Cascadia Prairie Oak Partnership. Does that sound okay, or would you like them to be distributed differently?
I'd like to see if it's appropriate that we offer one to the tribe or tribes, since they had a major role in the conversation and have been caring for that area for centuries. So I don't know who the contact is or how that might work. It's just a proposal.
Rules.
What is the tribe for that area, or is it multiple?
We have the 4 that are listed on the DAP website. It's the Confederated Chehalis, Nisqually, Squaxin Island, and Cowlitz tribes.
Like the Tamar, all the Tamar schools, Jim, or whoever has space for them?
Yes. Well, the issue, Gary Oak requires a particular habitat.
And I have specific homework for you all regarding that.
Okay, so schools may have open space with long-term ongoing maintenance. So that should be appropriate for this, as opposed to private landowners or such who may not have the open space and the long-term multi-generation commitment to being able to maintain and care for the plant. So, it seemed like a good option. I'm assuming that the 4 trees in parks will go in parks. I'd like to see more than that put in parks, and I hope that Gary Oaks will be a part of the landscape options, a preferred landscape option in Tumwater parks, where the habitat is appropriate. And again, parks, like schools, should have long-term, open space, non-competition areas that should be ideal for Gary Oaks, as opposed to parkways and forests and places where they don't have savanna, the traditional Gary Oak habitat ecosystem. Great, thank you.
Is there plans to grow more saplings or seedlings?
Not that I know of, but I can check with our Parks Department to see.
Who typically collects the acorns?
I think it was Kevin McFarland who collected a lot of them, and then, our Parks Department, might have even been some teenage volunteers, that collected the others.
And who grew them? The Parks Department?
Parks Department, yep, and they just recently got a little greenhouse to make sure
Oh.
that they're more taken care of.
I wonder if Cascadia, I'm quite sure Cascadia has a map of Gary Oak habit ecosystems in the Willamette Puget Sound area. And I would hope that the city takes their data and looks at Tumwater and says, where is the ecosystem for Gary Oaks in Tumwater? And then make a concerted effort every year to plant a tree in that appropriate ecosystem, just to preserve the longevity of Gary Oaks in the area.
Cool.
I have a request for homework. Did you have something to share, Chair? No?
No?
I would like to ask members of the tree board, or one of you, however many of you, but no more than 2 of you can meet at a time, to talk about this. If you would mind writing up planting and care instructions that we can give along with the trees, specifically for Gary Oaks.
I bet it exists online.
I'm sure it exists online, but we wanted to flatter you. You all have.
We can review and approve it.
Is this a request from the council?
No, this is, from the Parks Director and myself.
And Mike, you probably are more familiar with the Tumwater plant ecosystem than anyone else here. And you're called on to identify trees in areas. Do you know of areas in Tumwater that are currently, Gary Oaks commonly naturally growing?
Well,
Other than the survey that we did on the
well, that's,
You found one?
There's a page.
Feel free to send it to me. Thank you for doing your homework so fast.
Thank you, Google. But I haven't verified,
You gotta
so
make
there's
sure.
a good source, sorry.
Correct, great.
It's from Oak.
there's a number of really nice oaks just off of Capitol Boulevard. They just, I can't even, I don't remember which street, but even if you go down
Lee
the
Street.
street I'm on,
Yeah.
Ruby Street,
Yeah,
and go in behind there, on that curve right there,
right. There's 3 or 4.
there are several big
Yeah.
ones.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's one of them got creamed in one of that storm in 2012.
There's several around the, what's the graveyard across from Walmart?
Oh.
Yeah.
There's the Pioneer Cemetery, but then
Yeah,
there's the,
there's several, 10 to 15 foot seedling, Gary Oak seedlings growing there.
Do you know that group? Oak Harbor,
Yes,
so they're reputable.
yes. And they elect Gary Oak acorns and grow them in their backyards.
So Oak Harbor Gary Oak Society has a planting guide. Oak Harbor Gary Oak Society, endorsed by Jim.
I can get in touch with them.
Where are they out of? Is that-
Oak Harbor, Washington.
Oak Harbor.
That's our-
Oak Harbor.
With the island, yeah.
I don't want to interrupt any other research, but that's a lead.
I have, 3 other updates, sorry. Alex Chacon has resigned from the tree board today, so.
Didn't even make it a year.
He moved out of Tumwater,
Oh,
so I think he was making sure that, the intent for it to be Tumwater residents.
is he in the urban growth area?
No, he moved to Olympia. Yep. And then, one more before the proclamation, so that I can make sure that folks, this has not gone to any other staff yet, but I have worked with our GIS team to hopefully make this more useful. This is the approved street tree and right-of-way tree list that you all, had in a few meetings ago, and we made it as a filterable tool.
Oh, my God.
Select the right tree for the right place, so they can select their planting strip width, if they're overhead wires, if it's tree board recommended species, if it's drought tolerant, native, you can even select based on foliage color and flower color. Each tree has a number of different, category, or data points that were part of that same exact spreadsheet. So this is what I will be moving forward to, city administration to look at, and
One of them size, because we were looking at categories based on mature height or size, or sorted. That seems like a good way to sort.
that's a good point.
Is there any sense that there might be some of these trees that are really not available to the?
There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
wide variety of trees that they have the option of, and, some of them may be harder to find than others, but my understanding is that the tree board wants to support diversity, so even if some aren't easily found, they would still be an option that someone could go for. I don't have the time to, but if the tree board does, to bring this list as a still not yet totally approved list and see if there's ones that are harder to find than others, or, that'd be good to vet, and then we could add another column in this, to say like easily found at local nurseries or something.
The other side of that is that, 3 of the nurseries I've talked to would like to see this list. And so
Oh,
it may become available
there you go.
if we let them know, this is what we're recommending. So,
Ooh, I like that.
yeah, I hope that we can, I don't know if that's the urban forester's job, or what the urban forester will want to start networking with local
They will,
nurseries.
that's part of their job, yeah.
So this might be something that the urban forester could give to them and say, these are the trees we're recommending, and maybe there's a do not plant list, right?
There's a prohibited list.
That we should also pass out.
Also the nursery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran this by, the
This is great.
community development, and they thought that it would help, developers or just people choose the right tree, because a lot of times it's the planting strip width they choose the wrong tree for the wrong size. So having that be the first and foremost thing is like, how much space do you have? Okay, now you have a limited number of trees to choose from. Are there other criteria? And then they can narrow it down.
And if there is no, planting strip, there's no sidewalk.
Yep, there's a 10-foot. Yep, there's a option for, 10-foot plus. Yep, and they can, we still got some bugs, but, it should be that if you click 6, that you get 6 feet, 4 feet, 3 foot, yeah. We've been having some bugs with that. This is still very new, but wanted to show you that, we have been working on it since the tree board.
That's great. I might have missed it. Did you send out everybody's recommended tree list?
Yes, I didn't send it to you.
I'd be interested to know what everybody's choice was. Can you sort it real quick on here?
Give you one.
Yes, one of each size. I can probably,
Click on that, see what comes up. So this is the tree board's list,
of your recommended trees,
and we did it by size, right? Or you just lumped it all together?
because there's not a filter by the size of the tree, it's just kind of overhead wires or, and the planting strip. These were the recommended, and, I will admit that we did I know that you all aren't going to be pleased about this, but we did remove Gary Oaks as a street tree from this option, even though it was a recommended tree, because the only place in which it would be appropriate to plant as a street tree would be unimproved right-of-way. But we would improve the right-of-way, so it would need to be removed, and it's, a more protected species. We wanted to, right tree, right place. That, perhaps beside a road is, even though it's a really excellent tree for our area, maybe not a good street tree, considering the limitations and the protections associated with it.
A lot of times that, on the new developments, that's where the Gary Oaks are, along the old right-of-way.
Hmm.
So right-of-way is being widened, so they gotta go.
Well, and the new developments now with the water retention land, there's space that is not on the road.
There's landscape areas where the trees could still be planted.
So, I hope in the landscape ordinance revision, you know, we can somehow express that we want to encourage these native, larger trees wherever possible to be planted, but not next to the road, not over the water mains, not under the power lines. But there are spaces in a lot of our new developments, where these are, my subdivision, again, 50 years ago was built, but they have a 16-acre park. Great place to
Yeah.
plant.
Glad to see a few evergreens on the list. I know it's harder to get evergreen street trees, but
I'm excited to see it. They make our street sweeping easier, and they contribute less phosphorus.
And they deal with the winter rain.
although I saw a strawberry tree, I wouldn't say that was a debris-free tree.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really gonna get big enough to be a street tree, right?
Well, I've seen it. We
Oh,
have.
strawberry tree.
25?
Swardia?
No, arbutus?
Yeah, the arbutus.
Arbutus.
That's,
There's some sizable
Some in
ones
Gillespie.
across, on Capitol
Well, you're right, it's
Boulevard
not very
down
big.
to Olympia, across from the supermarket. There's a bunch of them. They're street trees that look great.
yeah, you gotta get them with a single.
Yeah, standard, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I see Tupelo made it twice. That's-
Well, I think
Speaking of one hard to
someone
find,
said that you liked Tupelo, but you didn't specify what kind of Tupelo, because
Oh.
there's a lot of them, so I just threw all the Tupelo in there.
oh, that could have been my fault.
It might have been you, Brent, but
I'm sure it was.
all the Tupelo in there.
Yeah, and what's the other one?
Wildfire.
Yeah, black Tupelo,
They're all
wildfire.
but different species.
I thought there was another tree that was also called,
Oh.
Tupelo, which I
Uh,
know Tanya.
common
said she
names
knows
get you all
about,
over the
we're
place,
going
huh?
into that, don't worry, Tanya, it's still not final. Is there another tree that could go by gumdrop, other than the gumdrop Tupelo?
Sounds like a eucalyptus
The
to me.
gumdrop tree.
Gumdrop tree, is it different?
Check it. I'm not sure if it's Tupelo.
And I had one last item, which is mostly a question. Who will be present tomorrow to receive the the Arbor Day proclamation? The meeting begins at 7 PM at City Council Chambers in City Hall.
I can do it.
Thank you, Trent.
Thank you, Trent.
I'll be there too, but
Is it gonna be before or after the hearing?
it's the first thing on the agenda. After the pledge of allegiance, it is the first thing. And you do not need to stay beyond, but no one needs to stay beyond the item in which they're interested for.
I made a mention that, you know, Easter, the
Yeah.
date varies huge. And unfortunately, our Arbor Day and Earth Day is right at the same time as the Tumwater Egg Hunt. So I don't know if 100 families are gonna come from the egg hunt to Arbor Day. Well, the egg hunt's here, right, at the high school, and then,
Right.
and then we're gonna be at the historical park.
Not
Or
ideal.
if nobody's gonna come, because they're all gonna be at the egg hunt, and then they're gonna go out to eat.
It's gonna be a beautiful day.
Hmm.
I feel like
People will wanna come.
we had it before where it was this, and maybe it was when, maybe we were at the library when were having the egg hunt. Didn't we have? wasn't there
Oh, does
another-
that ring a bell?
Yeah, but I think we were at the library,
Yeah.
so
Anyway,
it didn't really affect us, but.
I wish we would have done it, changed the date, just so the two city events, events didn't conflict.
It's not ideal, and our Parks Department's gonna be very stretched thin on that day.
Hmm.
Are they in charge of the?
They're in charge of both of them.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Well, it can't be because they didn't know.
you'd think maybe, yeah. Maybe two different sections.
I am officially done with my manager's report.
That was a lot of good news.
Yes,
The Earth Month.
yes.
Let's see if we have anybody for,
Well,
Do you have anybody waiting in the wings to join the tree board? Or do we have an official new name, or is that still going through city?
still not official yet. The city attorney has been dealing with a lot of, stuff, a lot of cases and whatnot, so she hasn't had the time to, go about the name change yet.
that's, probably should be on your list of things we'd like to hear from you about, if the name of the board.
I'll add it. Now that we will have one last lawsuit on the city's, docket, perhaps
Yeah.
we'll have the time now.
Yeah.
I've been using various acronyms in emails the last month or so, and it seems like, we talked about Urban Forest Board, or Advisory Board, UFAB, is as easy to say as Tree Board, or, that's kind of what we talked about most recently, isn't it? Urban Forest.
I think I missed that
Advisory Board.
meeting.
I think you advised, you gave us that.
Oh, really?
Name.
Oh.
Y'all have a motion and a second, and a unanimous vote.
Yeah, because I thought we had something in the minutes about it
Yeah.
that we just approved.
Yes.
What is it? Is that what it is?
I believe that's what it is,
Okay.
yeah.
There you go.
I will report back on the name change.
That have to go through like a formal,
Yep.
through council?
Again, I think it's consistent with the urban forest management plan.
Oh, yeah.
I would not be surprised if we waited until we opened up the code that, I take that back. There's many different areas in which the tree board is referenced in city code.
Hmm.
The one where you all are authorized is a very short one that shouldn't be too controversial.
So Saturday, I guess since there's no public comment.
Yes.
Saturday, what time do you want, people to be there?
Those of you who want to help set up, I will be there at 9, and I would love help setting up. I injured myself lifting the tent 2 weeks ago, so I would love to not lift it by myself again if I can.
Twelve PM?
It goes to 1, so, a handful of you to help set up if you'd like. 10 a.m. start, 1 p.m. end for the formal event.
The hours before.
The internet said.
I did see the write-up in the Pizzle, or this weekend.
The Parks Department has taken up the mantle for advertising both events as one because it felt confusing for, like, the Parks Department to be promoting one part and then the city communications to be doing another, so they combined efforts. There will be tree planting this year. I purchased 3 1-inch caliper big leaf maples and 2 multi-stem, nice big vine maples. I know that those are both maples, so you're shooting for diversity, but no local nursery had the other species that we talked about at a large enough size. Chase from Parks, I believe, will be leading the planting, but by all means, some tree board members go get involved. I would like to request that some of you still stay at the tent with me so that I'm not having to distribute 100 plants alone.
120. You have 5 plants, 25 of each. That's what you told me.
And the seeds, so,
So is everybody planning to be there?
I already
Yes.
excused myself.
So,
Be there.
Yes.
Tanya, are you planning to be there Saturday, all day or part of the day, or?
They're early to help Alyssa set up, and then I have class at 10:45. But if you need me, I can stay later. But yep, I'll be there early.
No, it's, okay, so 9 to 10:45?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Egg hunt is at what time?
I think it starts at 9 or 8. It starts kind of early.
Oh.
So it might be over by,
I know,
because it doesn't
it's a
last
very fast event, yeah.
like 15 minutes for each like, section.
20,000 eggs, that's a lot of eggs.
Posters, handouts.
So I have some posters, but not a whole lot. When I looked to reorder them, they wanted $20 a poster.
Wow.
I could not find them at a reduced rate, so I decided I'd rather, have the trees to plant. And,
Geez.
yeah, $20 a pop. That was, I think it's because the ones that we had might be like an old one and that they're special edition or something at this time. I couldn't find a good, inexpensive alternative. If someone else knows where those came from, that, please let me know, but in my digging, I couldn't find it.
I think they came from Arbor Day Foundation.
No, because they were like
DNR.
Washington, yeah, it was probably like
DNR used to,
Washington Publication or something, forestry or, yeah.
handouts.
Yep, I packed the box with all the handouts today and printed out all the handouts for the plants. So I had, Jim, is anyone else? Jim and Tanya. Are you planning on being there the whole day?
I don't know if it matters, but the egg hunt's from 11 to noon, so people could come
11?
before or after
Oh,
and still hit our event. To make the rounds.
And, Trent and Mike, are you planning on being there?
Can't be, I gotta be.
I can be there, I'm planning on being there.
Did Brody commit one way or the other before?
I'll send an email, to everybody, to see if I can get,
Or your husband that always helps out?
I might be asking, I'll be asking him.
He seems to enjoy it.
I tell him we plan on him every year.
All right, and if anyone has any paperweight kind of thing, that would be helpful for the handouts, if you could bring something of that nature, which could just be rocks.
And nice, black.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
I would say 10. That should cover all the different handouts.
That's a unique list, isn't it?
Like rocks.
But then otherwise, it seems like a good event, great weather. I'll be picking up the plants Friday afternoon,
Where'd you get them from?
same place, Plant
Okay.
Place. They continually give us a great quote.
Did you get them for less than $10 a pop, a gallon?
Some of them were more expensive than others, different varieties were more. I can,
Oh, probably the vine maple, I bet, the multi-stem. I don't know if I've ever seen a multi-stem 1 gallon vine.
I had to get it from somewhere else.
Yeah, probably just a single at 3.
Probably,
That's okay.
I can let you know.
No, I don't need to know.
You can just plant
And we have the handout on how to plant.
Yep, hanging out on how to plant, a bunch of pamphlets about the urban forestry management plan from the Arbor Day Foundation on different tree skills, about maintaining your trees for power lines. I'm bringing the books that you have provided for the tree board library. I have more that I've bought for staff, that were very expensive, so I'm not bringing those. Specific pruning textbooks and stuff. We have bracelets, pens, pencils, little tattoos, beads, all the handouts about the plants. There is more, but I will also be promoting a couple things that aren't tree related, just because I have the opportunity to engage with folks, and that's mostly the Energize program. And there's a new electric bike rebate program that the WashDOT has open right now that I want to make sure people know about. So,
And the lottery.
yeah, it's very cool that they're doing the lottery, because every other jurisdiction that's done this kind of thing, they sell out in like less than 2 minutes. So, it's a fair way to do it.
When does that start?
It's open now, and I think it goes till the 22nd.
You gonna put in your name?
Yeah.
When I spoke to the, person who's running the program, they had 14,000 applications already for the subsidized and 9,000 like unfinished applications that were started but not finished.
How many bikes are they giving away?
And is that on the WASDOT website?
Yep, if you just search, WashDOT, e-bike rebate, you'll find it. And they have, all sorts of so they have the regular e-bikes. This is not related to trees, sorry, but since you seem excited, I'll share. Regular e-bikes, cargo e-bikes, and then, like recumbent or ones for people who might not have, all four limbs at work, as they wish. So there's different options, including, more accessible options for different mobility. That's how I
Cool.
put it.
I read an article this weekend about the Amish, like, embracing the e-bike as a way to kind of circumvent the horse and buggy. But there was like positive and negatives to it, but
Huh.
I love mine.
they don't use their own energy, so they can plug them in, like, at public spaces.
Oh, fascinating. Anything else that you all want to discuss about Arbor Day?
Where are they planting the trees? On the park site?
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up a map, and I will, share the screen in a moment, Tanya, don't worry.
And we're not taking names or signing pledges from people who get the trees.
Unless you all direct me to want that, in the future. Here,
Oh, behind the Heritage House,
yeah,
Texton
I
House?
pulled it up last time and I found it,
That green triangle, yeah.
here.
Right there.
Let
Oh,
me share it so that Tanya can see it as well.
They cleared that all
So this area here, so they have other plants. Actually, in a very generous moment, Jim from, the plant place, had 200 camas plants, that, the client paid for, but then didn't want. So he reached out, to the city about donating them, and our Parks Department has picked them up, and they will be planting them, probably not right here, in a more appropriate spot, but, that was very generous of him. And we got plants donated from, Puget Sound Plants, and then I purchased the trees, with tree board budget, for that. And I know that they got a whole bunch of other native plants donated from other various sources as well. They kind of reached
There's
out.
gonna be an irrigation system, or are they gonna water by hand this summer?
We have a water truck now, a water trailer, so, using some, stormwater capacity grant funding, my department, Water Resources and Sustainability, purchased a water trailer, for the purpose of making more restoration projects possible by having mobile water. So I'm not sure if they'll be using it for this or if they'll be irrigating in another way, but that is a asset that we have at the city now, specifically in my department, to help with restoration and planting projects.
This site is within the park.
Yes.
So it won't go into the city inventory of public street trees and.
Well, we have the parks, inventory as well, so I can make that an early assignment for the urban forester to learn how to, add trees into our inventory, and, adding those would be a good exercise, and then, I want to have them go around the street trees that hadn't had, professional assessment in some time, to make sure that that's updated as well.
Will there be, any attempt to label the trees?
I'm not sure.
You know, the online database, if there's a public accessible online database, we don't need to label them, because people can go online and say, what's this tree? But is the city still paying for that?
No, but,
Is that something in the future?
so we can have an online database that we create and manage without having to pay an additional third-party, license fee. We just need to do it. And I've been waiting until the urban forester was on board so that they can kind of direct that project with our GIS staff when our GIS staff have capacity. They will be working on the tree canopy assessment in the near future, so I'm already asking them to do some stuff for me. And they'll be here in September to a tree board meeting to talk about the canopy assessment, but that'll be something that will hopefully get kickstarted this year.
Is it already time to start our first assessment based on that? Wow, that's crazy.
I'm flying. Yep, we had funding in the budget to buy the data that we needed, and they, know that by September, they need to have it completed, and, they're gonna already have it in their schedule to come present it to you all.
Cool. All right, well,
I have a unrelated, I mean, it's a tree issue, but it's not related to any of the topics we've had here. About 3 weeks ago, I saw a Google announcement about a mayoral candidate, who announced that he, is a veteran and he's planning to run for mayor of Tumwater.
oh yeah, I saw that.
And he intends to use the Davis Meeker oak as his logo. And he intends, he said, he intends to increase the, what is it, from 10% to 20%, number of trees in the set asides. And it was one of his opening platforms. What am I, do you know what I'm talking about? Currently, we say there has to be 10%, I think it was 10%.
Oh, the 12 trees or 10% thing?
Yeah.
That's going to change regardless. That's part of the 16.08, code amendment that we'll be working on with community development towards the end of the year.
This candidate said he was going to make it 20%. He's gonna double the coverage.
We're working on a credit-based way, based on the DBH from a lot of the stakeholder engagement that we heard, that people wanted to prioritize larger girth trees, because of their carbon sequestration benefits, but, that doesn't mean that we can't put something together that, responds to stakeholders that then gets changed at the dais. That happens.
I thought it was interesting that a candidate was, thought that that would be very appealing. And I think that might be something that we keep in mind as a tree board. If politicians think that expanding canopy and protecting trees is a big enough issue that it's a fundamental part of their platform, I think that's interesting and may create a little different perspective or practice. Apparently, it's going to be an issue that's going to seriously be discussed in the next mayoral election campaign.
Virtual hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Tanya.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Now we can.
Okay, I opened up my laptop. I met with him. His name is Lance Bender. He wanted to meet with a bunch of folks that were trying to save the Gary Oak. And he does, that is, I got one of his business cards. It's pretty fancy. It's got a raised Gary Oak on it. That's one of the first things he wants to do is raise developers to retain 20 to 25% of the trees. And he's also running on saving the Gary Oak, which we got great news from Melissa. It's already started. But yeah, he is very about the environment. Sat and talked to him for about an hour at the Little Pacific Northwest coffee shop. Very great ideas and seemed like a pretty good guy.
Is there any problem with us talking to candidates as tree board members?
I have not been asked that question before, but I'm gonna answer it as if you're staff, because you are appointed by the mayor. That as a tree board, you can't endorse any candidates, but as individual community members, you can function as you do. So long as you're not breaking quorum with other tree board members, and you're not making an official statement on behalf of the tree board. That's what I think I would get the answer, but I'll double check.
Yeah, he didn't know none of that. With
Many
me.
of
I didn't.
Yes,
he
many of
didn't-
you live in Tumwater.
Yeah.
Voters, you have the right to talk to, people that are running for office, but
So we can't say,
the tree board cannot endorse, no, that would be inappropriate.
or I as a tree board member endorse this person.
That I'm gonna get, I'll check on that, but, I'm fairly certain the answer would be no, but I'll
No.
check.
I don't think that would be appropriate. I don't think. He just talked to me because no one else was available from the group that was trying to help the Gary Oak. So that didn't even, I mean, we talked about later on, but that wasn't even part of the conversation. He just wanted to give me a bunch of information to go back to the members that the citizens that help with the Gary Oak.
When's the election taking place?
Yeah,
November?
yeah, yeah. Yep. Former Army, just retired, I guess.
I will, talk to the city attorney and get a clear answer and send it to everybody back. Just like I, as a city staff person, can't endorse anyone, even though I'm also a Tumwater resident and voter.
You know, all those trees on Lenderson that are out by the school, you know, that long strip there where just about every tree's gotta go, where they've got the grates. You know, the grates are all, you know, they never did service any of the grates.
I talked to Eldon, the street lead, just on Thursday last week, and he said that he instructed his staff to remove all the remaining tree grates in the city. I saw them doing the work on Little Rock, but I'm not sure if they went to Lenderson, so I'll ask him.
Well, I'm just wondering who's responsible, you know, those are in the sidewalk.
We'll ask.
Is that, they're basically city right-of-way trees, but that's a big cost along there. Because a lot of those trees, they're gonna take the grates out, but it isn't gonna be too long before the sidewalk goes.
I don't think they're ours to maintain, but I'll double check.
Faculty.
No, the
High school.
high school.
Oh.
Anderson?
Isn't it Lenderson behind?
Yeah, between the church and the high school.
Yeah. Yeah, the church and the high school, isn't that Lenderson?
Oh.
Brain was at Linwood.
Mm.
Yes, Lenderson, okay.
Yeah, isn't that,
I think it's Second Avenue.
was it?
Part of that is becomes Second Avenue. South of Israel is Lenderson. North, I think, is.
Well, anyway, when you go by the church, you know, you got that whole stretch there.
Mm.
Mountain View Church, Israel, Lenderson?
Yeah.
Okay, now I know what we're talking about. I will ask.
Thing is, see, it's just like what you can do, because the church, you know, when I mentioned it a few years ago, you know, when they were gonna build onto the church, the whole area in the back, where those big maples are, that's where the holding pond was gonna be. And so we got them to move a few things, so those trees behind are still there. And,
Next to the freeway.
yeah, next to the freeway. And then, of course, that area out front of the church.
Is a retaining,
Yeah,
the corner. Nice mature trees.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
yeah, well, it's a nice area. There's just a few spots like that left in the city.
He used to be like that.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, Fred Meyer.
I'll ask our engineering team, who is in charge of any road work, as well as, I know some folks at the church. Again.
well, they've made movement to remove the grates. Well, that's a big cost right there.
I've talked to Fred Meyer about their birch trees that are getting girdled by the grates. And they keep saying, oh, yeah, we're gonna do that. I talked to them 2 years
All
ago.
in the parking lot?
Yeah,
Uh,
to die.
well, all they do is hack them.
Yeah. But that's private property. So,
Yeah, but still, it gets to what we've always talked about. I mean, they landscape it, with a landscape plan that was approved by the city. But hey, once this outfit goes out of business, and then you've seen parking lots around town, it's tough.
I don't have anything in particular for the May meeting besides we want to debrief on Arbor Day, but we can do that via email if you want. It's up to you all. If you would like a month off after the big push for Arbor Day, I'll leave that to you. But I think there was an intention to have a joint city council meeting at that time, but that has not panned out yet.
Yeah, I should just soon wait until, because if the new urban forester's coming on May first, that'd be,
I think he's coming to the June meeting, you said?
yeah, it'd be something like that.
Let him have some time to get his feet underneath him before he meets you all again.
But he's local, I mean, he's local.
Yes, he lives in Lacey.
Does he live in Lacey or? So it's not a environmental transition for him, time zone or anything.
It's not like he's coming
No.
from Florida.
No. But I will note that I met you all within like 2 or 3 weeks of starting,
Yeah,
and Brad passed the torch.
that's quickly.
So who's, I think you said this already, are you gonna continue to lead these meetings, or will it be him?
Will be me. May have him as support whenever he's gonna have an item, that he's presenting to you all. I might opt to have him, fill my role. Or if I wanna take a vacation on the second Monday of a month, I can have him fill in, but, I'll still be the primary. But I'll have someone right beside me that has some tree knowledge to be able to answer some of the questions that you all,
Well, you've done very well.
I've tried, but he has experience that I don't have, which is exactly why we hired the position.
Long time coming.
How many years have you all been asking for this? 30?
Since the tree board started,
First
yeah.
time
Yeah.
you mentioned that.
Got it.
Okay, so we're not gonna have a May meeting, then we'll have a June.
The next meeting is June second. June.
Second Monday of June.
June 9th.
And you'll hear from community development about the conservation element in that meeting, and you'll meet the urban forester and get to know him, and if there's any other item that you all would like to suggest bringing in between then, email the chair and myself, and we'll figure it out.
Move we adjourn?
Okay,
All right, second that.
yeah.
Let's adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Thank you.
Adjourn.
See everybody Saturday.
Saturday. Bye.
It doesn't matter.